is when you are about to go into a panic mode or you're feeling very anxious, you can take an ice cube and put it on your wrist, right? So that helps your body get out of the fight or flight thing and concentrate on the sensation there, and you're not thinking about the thoughts. I think there's also this one exercise that I make my clients do is you can hold a ball, a tennis ball or any sort of ball. You can see the color, describe the color, how big it is, how fluffy or how hard it is, and feel the texture around it. So you're engaging your senses and you are touching it, feeling it, and like thinking about it.
I think that's very helpful. If not a ball, even probably like
Anything.
a pillow or even any anything you can hold in your hand, any object, anything that you can carry and feel in your hand. It makes you shift your focus to that object and probably describing that object.
Yeah, there is this ice cube trick that I also help my clients with, teach my clients about, is when you are about to go into a panic mode or you're feeling very anxious, you can take an ice cube and put it on your wrist, right? So that helps your body get out of the fight or flight thing and concentrate on the sensation there, and you're not thinking about the thoughts. So that is one technique. And breathing techniques are really wonderful. There are different types of breathing techniques, like the box breathing, where the person inhales for 4 seconds, holds for 4 seconds, exhales for 4 seconds, and holds for 4 seconds. So it is the square 4-4-4-4. So it is a square breathing technique or a box breathing technique.
Can we try it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we inhale for 4 seconds first, right?
Yeah. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Yeah. So that is one round of box breathing. You can do like a good 4-5 rounds to feel better. And there is another breathing technique called pursed lip breathing, where you make your lip inward and breathe out through that. And exhale should be longer than the inhale. So you go. This stimulates your vagus nerve, and that helps you deal with the stress or the anxiety that you're facing. Yeah, so that is one of the things that you can do. So till now we spoke about grounding techniques and breathing techniques.
When we talk about breathing techniques, people think that so many people might find it funny that we're talking about techniques of breathing, and breathing is something which
happens
is so
very
normal.
natural.
We are like always breathing. So when it comes to breathing techniques, it is timing our breaths just to ensure that our lungs are expanding and we are directing our attention from our thoughts to our breathing, to our lungs, or maybe to inhaling and exhaling, to holding our breath. So these are called breathing techniques. Again, when we were speaking about mindfulness, which is nothing but bringing our awareness and attention to the present moment and living the moment as it passes, and not contemplating the next moment or not contemplating the next hour. So me being mindful is me being here with you on this couch and speaking. So which is what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is again very, very hard to achieve, because we are anxious human beings and we do tend to think about what we're going to be doing 2 hours later. I have to cook dinner tonight, or I have to fuel my car. So there are constant things that are running in our mind for the future. What we are realizing over here is that I cannot control what I can do 2 hours later.
Right.
All I can control is what I can do right now. So what I can do right now is talk to you, right, and not deal with my thoughts. How do you as a therapist deal with anxiety? So day in and day out, when we are exposed to a lot of external emotions, we do tend to sort of make it ours, and that does somewhat promote anxiety in us. So for example, health anxiety. When we talk to a client who is experiencing a health crisis, or who has experienced death of a loved one, and they are grieving, that sort of brings anxiety for us too. It sort of brings us awareness of our health.
Right? About our mortality.
Yes. How do you as a therapist deal with anxiety when it comes to anything?
I think first and foremost, I acknowledge that I'm feeling anxious, because that really helps me to move forward. And after that, I probably, if I am too anxious, I breathe a couple of times, and I also talk to myself. I ask myself, okay, okay, you are feeling anxious. Okay, why are you feeling anxious? What is the worst thing that could happen? How would you feel if that is going to happen, if that is not going to happen? But one thing I've observed is in anxiety, we always assume the worst case scenario.
Yes.
Right? But I ask myself, I change that direction and reframe that, okay, what if this works out for me? Like even now, while coming, you asked me to come here and speak, this was very anxiety inducing for me, because I've never done something like this, right? But I pushed myself saying, okay, what are you anxious about? Like, I am talking to you, you're going to be talking to me. This is my first time that I'm doing this. It's okay. It's okay to be anxious. And I pushed through. I spoke to myself about it. I did a little bit of breathing as well. So I think breathing techniques really help. And there is also this technique called tapping, where you tap meridian points of your body and you tell yourself that you're safe, and you're okay. I think creating safety, even for people dealing with health anxiety, is very important.
Yes,
very, very important. Creating safety for people. Yeah.
That is very essential. Just making yourself feel that, okay, you're safe, and at the moment there is nothing which is causing me harm.
Right.
So before we wrap up, there is one more thing which I've observed, especially it happens to me too. Secondary anxiety, feeling anxious about having anxiety.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
I think that is very normal, because when we are anxious, we also show certain behaviors, right? Probably when I'm anxious, or anybody, like if somebody is anxious in social situations, they probably tend to isolate themselves. They probably tend to be a little away from the crowd, and that can cause a little bit of shame, like, oh my God, like is everybody judging me? Like, I'm away. Do they think that I'm cold or I'm unfriendly, right? So it's very normal to think about that before coming to a social event, like, oh, I can be anxious in this event. The possibility of you being anxious about being anxious is something that is very normal, that it happens. Yeah.
It was a great conversation with you, a very insightful conversation with you. Thank you so much for all your valuable inputs.
Thank you so much. I had a great time here too.
Click on the bell icon to watch our latest videos.